Hi there, this is Natasha from Chikaboo Designs, and today I'm going to give a brief introduction on how to edit a Squarespace website. So let's get started. As you can see, I'm already on the Squarespace website. I'm using Google Chrome, but you can use any browser that you have on your computer. So if you're using a Mac, you might have Safari instead, or Firefox or Internet Explorer, depending on what computer you're using. You'll see that I'm also already logged in, as you will be as well if you have already created your Squarespace account. I'm going to just head over to my websites. I'm currently a contributor to two websites. You can see them all here. And we're going to use Gina McDonald's website today. So I'm going to click on this website here. And now you can see I've arrived on the configuration page. So this is the back end of the website, and I'm looking at the home page. That's what it defaults to. This area here is basically like the Squarespace admin. I'm going to say you probably won't need to use most of these sections, but the pages one is going to be useful, and that's the one we're going to use today. So I'm going to head over to pages. And over here on the left now, I have a list of all the pages on my website. You can see that we're in the main navigation area. So all of these pages are in my main navigation, which is also here. This might differ depending on what your template is, but there will always be a navigation area. I just want to point out here that this work section, there's a different icon, and that's because it's a folder, not a page. So if I click on work here, nothing's going to happen because it's not a page, but everything underneath it is a page. So if I move about into the work folder, you can see what difference that's made. It's to make a drop-down menu basically. Right, I'm going to move that out again. The next thing I want to show you is that there's a section here called Not Linked. So the pages under here will not be in your main navigation, but you'll still be able to find them on your website. So you might have a page that you want to link to from your Facebook or something that you could put here. Or maybe if you're working on a page and you don't want it yet to be live, you can just put it here. So say I hadn't finished my About page yet, I might just put it here so that no one can access it easily, but I can still look at it when I want to. So I've just clicked on that, and now I'm looking at the About page, but it's not in the main navigation anymore. Okay, I'm just going to pop that back because we don't really need to do that. Right, so let's head over to a page. I'm going to head over to Gina's degree show page. The first thing to say is if you want to change the name, you click on the settings icon, and here you can change the page title. I'm going to keep it as degree show, but just wanted to show you that quickly. So just to show you that this cog icon is what I clicked. Now we're on this page. Basically, most templates will have a main content area, and when you hover over it, you'll have the option to edit it. Some themes will have separate areas. There might be a header area and a footer area. In fact, this theme also has a footer area. I'll show you just for reference. So this is a footer area, which is separate, and that's edited separately. So I'm going to head over to the main content area. So I'm hovering over it. This is still the main content area, and then I'm hitting edit. Right, so now I'm in the editing mode. I'm going to scroll to the top. I'm just going to show you basically how to edit some text first. Everything, as you can see, kind of is in a block. Can you see this grey outline? That shows you the boundaries of a block. So this is a text block. We've got two image blocks here. We've got another text block here. And the Squarespace also refers to them as blocks. So if I want to add a block, it says add block over here. So just as an example, I'm just going to show you how I'd edit this text. I'm going to click here and I'm going to just start typing. I'm adding Lochmaddy. Done that. I'm clicking somewhat outside the box and that's now done. I could save that, and I've done that. I've edited that page now and that text has been added. Okay, let's go back. So it's really as simple as that in terms of text. It's very easy to edit. Just go in, make an edit, creates, that's it. Click outside the box, that's done. But one thing I do want to show you is that you've got this little panel here to edit the text. There's some basic things. You can make things bold, italic. You can add a link. So if I click here, it'll ask me for the URL. I can copy a URL here. And basic word processor type settings. But the one thing that you won't really be able to do, actually there's a couple of things that you won't be able to do, but the most obvious one is that you can't edit the size of the font. And that's because that's already been defined in the styling, which I've done, and the theme will already have done a little bit of that. What you do have the option of is changing the type of text this is. This is actually an HTML type of thing, a coding thing, but it might be familiar to you from Word as well. So the most important information on the page will be the title. You'll probably put that in heading 1, then any subheadings in heading 2, and maybe some smaller headings in heading 3, and then everything else will be normal text. So as you can see over here, this is normal. I've highlighted it and it's normal, whereas this is heading 1. And you can't really, it's not that straightforward to edit the styling on these. So those are your options when it comes to styling. And that's just to make sure that all the pages are consistent. That's why that's been done. The other thing I want to show you is that often when you're copying and pasting from Word, some formatting from Word can get transferred over to the website, and that's not great. So I'm just going to show you how to paste it as plain text. That's what you call it. So there's a little button here. That's for pasting as plain text. So I'm just going to swipe over to the right here. I've got a Word document. That's some of Gina's content. Well, this isn't Word. This is the Apple version of Word, but it's essentially the same thing. But say I wanted to add this text to the website. I'm just going to highlight it, right click, copy. Then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go to the next line and I'm going to click this button, paste as plain text. It's asking me to put the content in here, paste, okay, and here it is. Right. Say I wanted this to be heading 2, just as an example. I'd highlight it and I'd go heading 2. There you go. Done, save, over. Great. I always suggest that you save as much as possible so that if you make any mistake, you're not going back too far. So whenever you're happy with what you've done, just hit save and then you can go and edit it again. You don't have to wait till everything's done. Right, I'm going to just delete this because obviously we don't need that. Great. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the images. So when you've sent me over images to put on the website, I often have to resize them and make sure that the dimensions, like the proportions of all the images are the same in case they want to sit side by side, and also that they're not extraordinarily large because large images on the web take a long time to load and it requires a lot of data. So if you're on a phone or something, it's not great for your data plan. Also, if you're in the Outer Hebrides and you have 20 gigabytes a month, not great for your data plan. So if you're planning on adding or changing an image, it's important that you get the image in a format that's suitable for the web. So a photographer will be able to do that. If you've had a photographer take pictures for you, you can ask them to put it in a web suitable size for you, and they'll also probably make sure that all the images are of the same proportion so that they can sit next to each other like this. But if you're not sure about all that, it's worth asking me or getting me to do some of this work. Right. But I'm going to show you how to edit an image, just so you know how. So just like a text block, or just like most blocks, you hover over it, and here you've got an edit button. So I'm going to click edit. I've got this little pop-up box now with the image. I don't want it anymore, so I'm going to hit the bin icon. And I'm going to upload another image. And here's a folder full of Gina's images. I'm going to choose this one of North Uist. Open. I'm going to wait for it to process. And hit apply there. Great. So, yep, it's really as simple as that, to be honest. You can see for the image block, you can actually write a caption underneath. Again, you can't change the size of the font really, some basic formatting, but the size has been determined by me and or the theme. But yeah, that's how you would change an image. I don't want that to be there, so I'm actually just going to hit cancel because it's a bit easier. I want my changes to be discarded, yes. Now everything's as it was. Great, so that's basic editing an image. The other thing I wanted to show you, which is a little bit more complicated, is moving things around. So right now, these are two blocks next to each other. This is one block on its own. This is also one block on its own. But you can put as many things next to each other as you want, basically. I reckon you probably won't put more than 3 at a time. But I'm just going to show you how to move things. So say I wanted these to be separated and on top of each other instead. I'm just going to drag this. And what you'll start seeing is a black line. And that's what determines where it's going to go. So I want to put it underneath, and I want it to be a full block. So the black line is running across the content. I'm going to let go, and that's now underneath. Okay, I don't really like how it looks, so say I want to put it back up now. I'm going to hold it again, and I'm going to move it. So now you can see this black line is actually running the full way down the page. I'm going to show you what happens if I let go now. Right, so now you can see it split the page into two huge columns, which is not what we want. We just want it to be next to the image. So we really have to use that black line to make sure it's in the place that we want. So this would mean, I think, next to the text block, which is also not what I want. I want it just next to this image. So now I'm hovering over the image, and you can see that the black line is just next to the image. So I'm going to let go here. And there you have it. Now it's back. But it can be a bit fiddly, and I've often been confused about where everything's going. So don't panic. I'd say if you get it in the wrong place like that, and you don't really know how to fix it, hit cancel. Yeah, discarding that because that's wrong. Then I can go back and edit. And this is why I'm saying to save often, so that you don't end up going back to a very old version of your content. Right, so next thing I want to show you is how to add a block. Hopefully, or in all likelihood, you're going to be adding a text block or an image block. So let's add another image block. Hopefully you have an idea now of what these black lines mean. I can click this bobble to add a block. So now you have an option, all the different blocks that Squarespace has to offer. Here's text, here's image. I'm going to say those are the two most useful ones. But let's say I add an image. Here you can see that, I'm just going to move this for a sec. you can see that it's only added it underneath this image, and that's because that black line was only halfway across the page. Let me show you again. Just going to delete this and show you again. So that's because I clicked on this bubble, which is only half of the page. What I really want is a full width image, so I'm going to hover over this bubble. Sorry, I don't really know a better way to call that. So now I'm going to click this and I'm going to add an image across the whole length of the page. Let's upload an image. Let's choose, what's that? Knitting. Oh, rope. Here we go. That's the one I want to add. Excuse me. So I'm going to add this rope image. Apply. So now that's there. Easy as that. Caption is over here. I just clicked on it to get to the caption area. So now I can add a description of it. Rope. I'm just going to move it to show you again how one might move things. So say I want this now. I want this at the top. Maybe even before this text here. So I'm going to hold it. And I'm scrolling at the same time. That can be a bit tricky, but basically I just need to get it to the top. And now I can see that the black line is running across the whole page. Let go. There you go. Now it's at the top of the page. I've decided, no, actually I want it to be underneath this text. So I'm going to just move it again. I'm waiting for that black line in the place that I want it. I'm always waiting for the black line. There you go. I've released now. So that's below this text. Maybe I actually want 3 images in a row, so let me try that. I'm going to move it here. So I'm waiting for that black line in the right place. I want it, you know what's going to happen if I put it here. I'm just going to show you again. Not what I wanted. It's weird. But that was because the black line was, here you go, you can see it again, running down the whole length of the page. What I want is for it to be just next to these images like that. There you go. So here you can see that the proportions of the images are different, and that's what I was trying to explain before. That's why it can be a bit tricky to upload images, because there's nothing really that Squarespace can do for you. If it's easier, at least, if the images are just all the same for these kinds of things. So yeah, it's useful to have a photographer, a professional, give you the images in a format that's ready for them to use on the internet. Okay, so I hope that's clear how to add a block. I'm actually just going to add a text block as well for you so that you can see what that looks like. I'm deleting this, and say I want an extra text block between these 2 images, because this is actually just a caption. It's part of the other block, the image block. So I'm going to hover between them, and now this bubble has appeared. That's what I want to see. I'm going to click it. The black line is across the full width of the page. Brilliant. Text. And now I can start writing section 2. Maybe I want this to be a heading. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to make it heading 2. There you go. This is section 2. I'm going to click out, and that's over there. Yep, that's all there is to that. I'm going to delete it again. We don't need it. If there's already a text block, you can just add to it. You don't need to add another block. So that's basically how you'd add text or images. And that's everything that I want to show you this time. I would say it's much easier to edit content than it is to create a new page and start from scratch. But I hope if you get the hang of this, then there's nothing more to making a page than what I've showed you really today. So good luck.